Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Don't Be Afraid of the News. I'm Josh McClain, and this week we come to you from the beautiful Overton Park here in Memphis, Tennessee. We wanted to try something a little different, and it just feels great outside. Starting right off, why Hispanics are cooler than you. Some call it the Hispanic Paradox. U.S. Hispanics can expect to outlive whites by over 2 years, and to black people, more than 7 studies are starting to show. This Hispanic Paradox is apparently what happens. It's the name they're giving to a culture that has worked harder than most, and there's no real explanation for why this is happening, actually. Let's see, white people live to about 78 years old. Black people to the average of about 73, whereas Hispanic Americans, who are immigrants, live to be about 80, 81, 82, 83 even, it seems. I personally think this is hilarious because, you know, the ones that work the hardest are going to actually win the race. The longer life thing will diminish in a couple months or in a couple generations due to bad American habits like smoking, fast food, gameplay, not using their brains, which is picked up. Where do you think they picked that up? Here. Jane Delgado, president of the National Alliance for Hispanic Health, has said American lifestyle is very sedentary, and that's not a good thing. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see here. Soup Can House. Addressing affordable housing issues from the firm of Austin and Marigold are building houses now, hold on, let me get this right. Cheap, easily assembled, and can encompass up to 2,000 square feet onto 2 levels with the option of a greenhouse. What they're doing here, people, is they're making houses out of silos. Those big grain things you see out in the Midwest that are all over the place. These people have figured out how to make houses out of old used silos that are already prefabricated that cost next to nothing. This seems pretty cool. I personally think you've got it up to 2,000 square feet, 2 different levels. There's even a greenhouse option they can help give you, and you can link up to other soup can houses. They hope to have their next model, which is called Pool in a Can, no joke, ready for 2012, the year where all of us will finally become fish in a barrel. Ready for your kids to eat better? Hide the chocolate milk, fancy up those apples, and it's time to only pay cash for desserts. These are some of the tests that psychologists are trying on kids nowadays to help them eat a little better and become a little less little fatties. Let's see here. The Department of Agriculture is spending up to $2 million on tests to improve school lunches because they've done tests and they've done studies and are revealing up to one third of kids and teens are obese now. And that's just bad. That's just not healthy. I mean, it doesn't matter what the body is supposed to look like. That's just not right. They're doing this thing called smart lunchrooms, and they're implying all kinds of different things. Smart lunchrooms are trying things like they're renaming food and positioning different things in different ways where you have to actually like look for the bad stuff and all the good stuff's out in front of you. They're renaming stuff where they're trying stuff like X-ray vision carrots and was it lean mean green beans, which, you know, the worst thing this could really lead to is like kids eating these things and thinking they're becoming superheroes and jumping off buildings and, you know, thinning the herd just a little bit. And, you know, to be honest, if the stupid kids go, maybe that's not such a bad thing at this point. Let's see what we got next here. Yes. This town in India sunk up to 20 feet like a week or so ago, right? This remote Indian town of Mamat has sunk at least 20 feet, displacing over 250 residents. And we all know there's not a lot of room in India in the first place. So if we're displacing land, there's some people going to be pissed off. Small cracks in the ground first appeared in this area around 1994, but wasn't considered that big a deal because India's got bigger fucking problems to deal with. Click. India has a lot bigger problems to deal with than just that. It's believed that heavy rain has weakened the porous rock underneath the entire town, and the entire town just sunk 20 feet. Just boom, like you drunk on a Saturday night. Just boom, done. Find a new place to live. Geologists don't expect there to be any more sinkage, but at this point, the residents are not taking any chances, and the government approved them new land not too far away to be able to build and settle on, and I believe they're all taking it. Let's see here. Our last story for the evening is somewhat of a personal one for us here at Don't Be Afraid of the News. Our writing staff and our production staff have been following a story pretty closely the last couple months, well, as close as we follow anything, about these Chilean miners who've been stuck underground. If you paid attention, if you watched last week, we talked about what a pain in the butt it would be to be underground for an entire month with the people you work with. And ooh, that just sends shivers up my spine right now. But there's something cool that came out of this. everybody's alive. The most important thing out of everything. Everybody got out of there alive. The workers worked round the clock for months trying to figure out ways to get these hardworking miners out, and they did. And that's awesome. They all got out. And what's even cool, a little icing on the cake, apparently 2 of the guys that were down there are humongous Elvis fans. And granted, I may like this a little more because it has to do with us in Memphis, and it's nice that these stories crossed. Graceland heard about this through the national news. Graceland is taking these 2 gentlemen and their entire families and flying them here to Memphis for like week-long vacations and free trips to Graceland and stuff like that as kind of I guess a thank you or just a thanks for getting out alive thing. But how cool is that? You know, you take a corporate company that really doesn't have a whole lot of merit anymore, doesn't have any, doesn't really do a lot anymore, and brings happiness to a whole group of people like that. And that's just nice. That's just cool, and that's what it's about, right? So, if I got anything else to say this week is, go outside. Look at this. It looks fantastic out here. It feels unbelievable. I could be naked right now and I'd feel just as comfortable, but probably get more people watching, but hey, not yet. Go outside, read a book, call your parents, do something good, tell your wife you love her, give your girlfriend a kiss on the cheek, maybe do the dishes. Be nice, all right? It's a good day. It's a good day to be around. Josh McClain, don't be afraid of the news. Wow, I can't believe I just did something that cheesy. Have a good night, guys.